to today's second part of 3. The next part will be out either tomorrow or the day after. So let's get straight into this, shall we? They are just gonna quickly explain the rules.
You can maybe tap into the medieval era, right? Even argue you could do the
Let me
King Arthur stuff,
quickly.
right?
Yeah. Alright, I'm back. Let's get right into it.
Identity and culture is very broad in nature, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like you naturally start going back in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can maybe tap into the medieval era, right? Even argue you could do the King Arthur stuff, right?
Yeah.
With
Another,
Merlin as well.
I will also say here that I was against St. David's College.
Modernizing it as well, you know, like there's tons of ways to
No, not St. David's College.
Right?
Ronda Rising.
I'm a little bit lost, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things you can do, don't get me wrong. But what screams at you for modern identity and culture? The rugby, the stadium, right? Those things come to mind.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah.
Represent people.
Again, yeah. Again, finding a way to represent culture is going to be really
tough. Go that one step further. I'm a little bit biased. You could go esports. The future of sports.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. It is modern. You know, that is a real, blooming opportunity right now for a lot of students growing up as well. So yeah, tons to be done.
There's a lot more.
It all depends on how the students interpret it.
Yes, completely up to them. So we'll jump to a break in the meantime whilst they discuss their theme and they line up to get into the game. Some of them get a little feel whilst the judges are actually still running over the previous game. We'll let you know the results as soon as we know. But in the meantime, we'll cut to a break briefly and we'll catch you in a bit.
Catch you soon.
Yeah, I skipped forward quite a bit here, guys.
Different results is what it means to them when the team is collected might be completely different from what the team comes up with on the other side, right? Now, I have to preface this. We are watching a true
second of our last set of semi-finals of the whole day. It is Hammer Celts versus Ronda Rising. This is, of course, the other side of the post-16s semi-finals. And the theme, you didn't hear it earlier, is identity and culture in modern Wales. Leon, there is so much you can do with this. Yep. So excited to see what these teams build.
Yes, I think you might see quite a contrast on this one. I can imagine you'll see completely two different results because what it means to them when the team is collected might be completely different from what the team comes up with on the other side, right? Now, I have to preface this. We are watching a true David and Goliath battle going on here. We have the Hammer Celts, Cardiff and the Vale College, up against Ronda Rising. Now, Havoc, they are top of the group, number
That's
one.
Us.
And there is a 20-point disparity between the two teams, but then Ronda Rising, who is coming to this grand finals tournament in the Principality Stadium at the bottom of the group. However, that does not mean they're out. Seen some upsets today, right?
Today, yeah.
We've also seen some of the kings retain their crown as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the build battle goes. They've just started and got in, and it looks like they're building up the base play already, so we'll jump in and check out what they're up to.
Yeah, I don't know, but like with the Mice Miners earlier, I think pulled it out right at the end. Didn't manage to win overall, but did make their way to the finals. So, you know, it can be done. And as we saw in the previous build set, the post-16 is so hotly contested. So, again, while Ronda Rising are coming in bottom of the group, bottom of an extremely strong group, right? So these matches could have been close all along, and if you've got any special tricks, now is the time to pull them out.
Oh, for sure, and I can guarantee you that Cardiff and Vale College will definitely be pulling out all the stops, okay? They are the ones that bring the narrative to the building, go that extra mile. It'll be interesting to see how they do the time crunch, right? But all teams have to deal with that today.
Exactly.
And so, some of the teams that have just played might be strategizing already, considering what to do with the difference in time that they've had to deal with today in the Principality Stadium compared to the luxury of their schools and colleges where they've been competing through the league.
Yep.
So far, we have a mud brick base plate on top of stone built up for the Cavacal. And the question block to be using, I really like mud firstly, the mud block.
Yep.
The audio is kind of scuffed.
Texture, but a lighter tone than your usual dirt, right?
Yeah.
So you can get a little bit more of a tone shift. You can also do a bit more of a gradient with this as well. On the side of Run the Horizon, however, they've already started opting to go for their building. Now, what each team is going to do for identity and culture in Modern Wales, I have no idea, but we'll see how it goes. You see some blue stained glass being used nice early on as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking about, Judas, during the break, we have seen quite an interesting evolution of almost general approaches. I won't call it a strategy, and I won't call it a tactic. I don't think it's a competition. But I noticed that primary, the youngest of all the age brackets we saw today, had the most creativity, right?
Yes.
We saw that dual tone, 2 zones,
Very cool. Yeah.
old age, vintage, black and white, almost like in the movies, to the modern day, right?
Yeah.
That is definitely the most creative solution we've seen all day. And then I feel like the under 16, they still had elements of that creativity. They had technical skills that started raising the bar, right?
Yes.
And now I feel like when we get to the post 16, which is what we're spectating right now, I feel like there's a lot more technical skill, almost as if, like, if you're in an art class, we went from very creative, abstract stuff, right? No one tells you what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You're a kid, right?
Yeah.
And then we go to the...
It's not a style.
Like, when we get to the post 16, which is what we're spectating right now, I feel like there's a lot more technical skill.
The internet's also
almost as
kind of
if,
bad
like,
because
if
I was
you're
on
in
my
an
way to
art
college.
class, we went from very creative, abstract stuff, right? No one tells you what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You're a kid.
Cool thing about this particular prompt of identity and culture in Modern Wales is block style. It's very almost cartoonish, but then you get to this sort of level, and yeah, they're going for not like hyper realism, but as real as you can make it. You know, they've really gone for that so far. It'd be interesting to see if these teams also look to go along the same way here. The cool thing about this particular prompt of identity and culture in Modern Wales is I have no idea what is being built yet, and we won't know until the very end, it feels like, because there is so much that you can do here.
Yes, for sure. I think I might have an idea, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm
We've
seeing
seen
something.
some suggestions from earlier on through the Build Battle series that we're going on. The road to the biggest festival in Wales, that festival being the Eisteddfod, the Is, right?
Yeah,
I think this is the character, the white red tree, little pyramid guy, the little mountain for the Is. I think we're seeing that as some sort of like iconography approach on the horizon. So a very symbolic approach from them. I quite like that a lot, to be honest. We haven't seen a very symbolic approach, apart from maybe the Welsh Dragon, right, that we saw earlier. But look at this over on the side of Cardiff and the Vale. We have a custom tree already being made with branches out of dark oak fence and then logs out of dark oak. And then they are sculpting the landscape together. And if you can hear, you guys can't hear this at home, but me and Judas can. The communication behind us, they are locked in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one word on.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do that. Now on this. Now on that.
It's like listening to people playing Counter-Strike. Honestly,
Literally,
it feels very similar. Not quite so many call-outs or grenades being thrown, but there is still the level of this like the cohesive communication. And again, I can see it with my very own eyes. The judges are paying attention, and this can score you good points.
Yes, absolutely. A huge part of these Minecraft Summary Build Battles is the research element. It's why you have people get right. If you can show your research, whether it's in a literal sense of like, oh, we learned how to make a triple piston 3x3 door, right? Or it could be, we found out in the 1800s that this building was used for the coal exchange, right?
Yeah.
There's different elements of build. Oftentimes, most teams opt to have two researchers for that very reason.
Yeah.
One's almost like a technical one, and one is a contextual narrative-based one, right? Both work in tandem to bring the build to life, and both are equally as important, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the teams that have done the most prep in the little time they have come out on top, and it's happened a lot across the board. So it's...
Hiya, I'm Eleanor, just your average walk.
Yeah, Adverts happened quite
So
a bit.
far, it looks like One the Rising is sticking to that theme I said about symbolic build, but they seem to be clashing. Oh, walking to the zone.
Too excited. I'm not sure they got the space to write Ice Dead, bud.
They don't. Oh no, they're
Hold
going
on.
around. So they've definitely gone for a symbolic approach. There's a lot of communications right now, discussion if they should keep it going. It looks like they've
Yes.
opted not to. They're going to resize, reposition. They could also put up in the sky as well. They could try and get those easy, low-hanging fruit points to the size of area, right?
Yeah.
But of course, volume also applies to that too. We can see that as the rugby pitch. We said, what comes to mind? Modern day is the rugby, I can
Rugby,
imagine.
yeah.
We can see that it looks like there's a stage over here with potentially some artists on stage. It looks like a little capsule of the Ice
Yeah,
Network.
so much more.
Yes, I can definitely see that there. Yeah, nice little setup. A bit of a take that feel going on.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that sort of develops as they get towards the end of it. Obviously, it feels like we should be further into our time limit with how much they get done so quickly. But no, still 13 minutes to go. And I'm still in the tank for this team.
Now, over on the side of Havoc, the Havoc Cow, they are very clearly going environment in, right? They started with the environment, they're still refining the environment. They are probably one of the best environmental teams you'll see in all of the Minecraft Summary League. You're in for a treat when it comes. They will definitely be getting our visuals down. Like I said, they've got the mud, the packed mud, the moss, they got dripstone blocks, a very good block, right?
Yeah.
Really works well in organic situation. I have to ask though, what is this doing right now to address the theme of identity and culture in modern Wales?
That's what I was thinking. Like they've almost built some kind of arena. It almost feels like a bit of a stadium made out of mud.
Yeah.
But I do wonder what I believe those are diamond blocks there coming in. So how do they plan to incorporate that? There's clearly a plan laid out, right? Those blocks don't just end up there by chance. But yeah, they've done a lot on the environment first and starting out with that sort of spread. So then how are they going to dial this one all the way back into being focused on actually answering the question, right, on identity and culture in modern Wales? And again, not seeing it just yet, but I do have faith that once we start to get a bit further in, that will start to see it all together.
I can definitely see that they're using that mud block, right, to create this sort of transition into a wet or pond. I think the blue stained glass is going to be a waterfall. So a waterfall in a organic, natural environment, maybe they're tapping into the element of being able to walk around all the different wonders around Wales, right? I'm thinking Llangrannog, when you used to go under a waterfall.
Yeah.
That was like I still think is an iconic experience for most people who live in Wales, who go to school in Wales. So maybe it's happening into that, because I feel like that's quite modern.
Yeah.
Maybe, ironically, like 2000s, 2010. Maybe not super duper modern.
It was actually Brecon Beacons built.
Stedford and the Inn.
That's better.
But who knows? They've managed to get it fitted in though. So they've floated it.
Well, we actually saw this last year. A team decided to do something with the Ice Dead Bod. Now they had the issue of they couldn't quite work out how to spell Ice Dead Bod. I think we're still not quite there yet.
They got it wrong.
It is 2 D's, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no!
In Ice Dead Bod. So hopefully they rectify that detail, or maybe even over
I
here
am
me
not
talking
sure.
about it. But yeah, we did notice that last year as well. Now that team did manage to figure that out in time, so hopefully Ron the Rising can manage it. There's actually 2 Ds in Ronda as well, so I would hope
Oh wow!
they can identify that before it's too late. But there's a really complex build going on here from Havoc Health. I do believe they can pull it off. I just worry for the reduced time limit, right? They can only have 20 minutes instead of the usual 30. Have they bitten off more than they can chew, or are they going to manage to finalize the build?
Yeah, it's that high risk, high reward element that we saw before, right?
Yeah.
It really paid off for some of the other teams. They actually even got a Sculpin on to win in the end, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely is a strategy that you can employ, but is it what you want to be using in the semi-final?
Yes, of course. Like you say, you want to make sure you at least get in that finals. The runners-up do leave with a trophy as well, so you always get something to go home with. But if you do go out in the semi-finals, unfortunately, you do not get any sort of memorabilia to follow you here. So definitely want to make sure you make it.
I'll tell you what, Judas, I've just thought something.
Oh, yeah?
There's a good opportunity that some of these teams have gambled their strategies and research on some of the other themes.
Oh, yeah, true.
And
true.
they might have to transform their final result into something that fits the theme in the end.
Yes, of course, they don't know what they're going to get and have to respond quickly to what they do end up with. And, of course, in the finals as well, they'll have that twist element on top. So they have to make sure that they are good enough to think on their feet. But like I said, the communication from both these teams, it's not loud like it was earlier in the day. It's very muted, very simple, clear communications here, because there's just so much detail going into this that individually these players having to focus a lot on what they are building. So they haven't got the the ability to just communicate so well. But that's why we're getting these very complex layouts, and you can see with the stained glass coming out here, this looks very cool already.
I was going to say, I've actually had the opportunity to attend an esports event in Vale College. Myself, the CEO of Esports Wales, John, we attended something called an Esports Olympics.
Oh, nice.
We had to jump from all sorts of different games. And I had the opportunity to speak to the Minecraft team.
Oh, really nice.
In the Minecraft Premier League. And they said that, and this is a shout out as well, that they love to follow tutorials from EOO, one of the best builders in Minecraft.
Ah, nice.
They follow a lot of his guides and try to incorporate some of the build elements into their build. Stained glass, definitely something that's like new age Minecraft builder. It's like the new Minecraft building meta.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they bring this very beautiful organic build back. Now, of course, topical relevance is one category of 6. However, I'd argue that it carries some of the most weight, because if you are not getting it right for the theme, can you get any of the other points right?
Right, like how is your environment then relevant?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite nailed
if you have the best environment on the planet, but it's a desert, and you're supposed to be building a forest,
it will definitely.
It doesn't really transfer, right? So it's going to be a time crunch as we move into the last 8 minutes for Cardiff and the Vale to try and get something that fits the theme. Don't get me wrong, the most beautiful environment we've seen all day, this waterfall effect with the creek in a handcrafted environment with the foliage, incredible.
Yeah, really
incredible. However, we're on the rising right now, definitely hitting the theme of identity and culture in modern Wales.
The simplicity of it, right? You see the different coloured beacons coming through there to just show up something a little bit different, like this iStepbot type of stage. You really need to build that extra D in iStepbot. I'm gonna mention it again, but hopefully that gets tidied up by the end, and the slightly more detailed zone. But yeah, it's simplicity might
ignore the
them out
notifications
on the theme so well, like, because they still have a sizable build, but it does enter the theme just a bit better right now, at least until Cardiff and the Vale actually finalise their build.
Oh, I think your dreams are being answered, Judas.
There's another. There we go.
There we go. Looking good. Now, I do have to ask, I think they're missing a bit of the environment, right? Obviously, Cardiff and the Vale have prioritized the environment, the aesthetic, right? You can't just ignore it either, right? I think Ronda Rising needs to do something about the surrounding environment, pop some trees up, do some custom trees if you have the time. You only have 6 minutes left, though.
Yeah.
Time's in the crunch. At the very least, get the bone meal out, start bone meal in some of the floor, etc., etc. I do like the attention to detail of the armor stands on stage. They even got the camera off to the side, the redstone on top of the iron bars,
like a nice microphone. That's nice.
That's awesome. I was going to say, I would love to see, if they're going to put this much attention to detail to them on stage, I'd love to see them actually equip them with some outfits. Now, leather in Minecraft has a ridiculous amount of options you can dye it, because a lot of people think you can just dye it the colors you have given the dye.
Yeah.
You can actually dye them shades in between.
Oh, wow, really?
So you can go from blue to purple by adding in some red shades.
Ah,
so if they really wanted to, they could have someone cycling through the colors to make it like a really jazzy sort of outfit on stage. But then the question is that what's going to get the point?
Yeah, that's true. Like you say, it needs to be what you have to be focused at this point, because again, final 5 minutes, the details do matter, but what are you missing out on if you don't manage to get those details set up? Seeing a nice little sports center set up here.
I like the kelp blocks used there for the rugby ball.
Yes.
That's a little bit something different.
Again, little bits like that, right? Can you have something that just makes the judge smile a little bit? You see something, oh, that's good. That's a cool little detail.
A little nod, you know?
Again, this is more simple than what the Cavacults are gone for, but right now it is looking
It definitely does, but there's one point, right? I've got to say, like, it's quite bizarre. We're in a scenario where this is incredible, beautiful, really hits the environment, the aesthetic, right? This one really hits the topic brief,
Yeah.
but then this needs environment. I don't know what redstone it has going for it. I don't see any.
No, not
This
yet.
team has just added some redstone, right? They have
Yeah,
redstone
they've got something
underneath.
quite complex going on there. I'm not sure if that's like a tiled flooring they're almost going for.
Underwater, I'm not too sure what this represents. I'm assuming their research will give more insight.
Yeah.
So hopefully the judges will have an opportunity to find out what that is. But I guess you could argue that the country's landscape is definitely a core identity.
I was going to say, you know, you have the valleys and stuff, the rolling
Exactly.
hills in there. It's very famous. It's how you talk about Wales. And that might be sort of what they're looking for here. You're starting to see it being filled in now. There's clearly a more detailed waterfall than we saw earlier, right? You've got that almost white sort of spray at the top end and then going into the more blue at the bottom. And again, it might just be they're looking for identity in, you know, the more rural areas of it. That's totally relevant as well. And again, this comes down to pitching it to the judges. What do they tell the judges, which we are not privy to over here? But if you can, like you say, you can reference your research, say this is what we decided to go with, then yeah, it's totally relevant. You know, they can see the flowers, the trees, they've all really built this from scratch. And you can tell, you know, you can really see the details going on. And it might just be a fantastic snapshot of a Welsh countryside.
Yeah, and the redstone they've got included is not the easiest, right? They've got relays underneath, repeaters to extend a huge pulse, because that redstone lamp sort of layer is quite vast, right? Underneath the entire latent that they have.
Guys,
So
that's me.
it'll
That's
be interesting to
me.
see if
Right
they're
there.
going to do something that animates it, right? We saw St. David, which is Paladin of the Vale's literal rivals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They want to beat those. They're the only ones that had an animated build. These guys might be trying to match them in that sense. Be like, well, we saw what you did in your semi-finals. We can do that too. Oh,
There
and
we go.
there we go.
Oh, that's nice.
So they're using wind charges, one of the newest items in the game, to use the visuals. They're shooting it up with a dispenser on a repeater, right?
We
On a little
we
clock.
use commands,
So it's
not
making
dispensers.
obviously the splashing of the waterfall.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really nice. I think we saw something similar with the blue and white sort of geyser effect coming out with the fireworks earlier today as well. This is similar to that. I'd almost like to see them add both. That could be a nice way to do it. But yeah, I like the sort of flash particle effect going on there. That is a really nice touch. Again, could be a specific location that they are going for that they've used in their reference. I've just found a very cool way to do it. And I'm really interested to see if these redstone lamps do get animated towards the end.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they will. You can see from above that with the stained glass, they've made a gradient of the water as well. So visual creativity-wise, aesthetic environment, they're owning. In terms of area and space, I'd say they're maybe quite even. Like, there's more vertical space used by Cardiff and the Vale, but there's a valley in between, and of course, there's this dead space back here though. For Rhondda. So it's a shame that they're not using that. They seem all focused on the same space. It looks like
around this stage area and everything and getting set for that.
Yeah, they only have 2 minutes to get something going too. I'm curious to know what Rhondda Rising are trying to get the end result to be, or if the time crunch is really putting the pressure on, right?
Yeah.
I can hear a lot of comms going on. There's some people who are a little bit lost, it looks like. But there's some good leadership from the side of Rhondda Rising. We have a member stepping up to sort of direct them.
Yeah, really take control at the end, just to make sure
the
these
finishing touches.
Yeah, exactly what you need for this time. Again, 90 seconds. It doesn't sound like long, but with 6 of you building, you can actually get quite a lot done. Particularly when the majority of the build is done. You're looking mainly for the final finishing touches here, and really starting to finish out that stage area. And it does look very.
But hey, they managed to enclose the stage, which is great. I saw one was adding some form of redstone inside of the little If Mountain. I quite like the aesthetic of this, like, very bold, saturated in your face sort of colors.
Yeah.
I wish they kind of kept that thing going. You know the Grand Finals Principality Stadium flooring?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And some of the terracotta or the concrete. I would love to see that too, right? Keep the theme going, you know?
Yeah,
You started off with one aesthetic, you got it in the Isdil Mountain, and you've got it in the Eisteddfod as well. But then we've come back to the usual Minecraft sort of aesthetic as well. Just a little creative consideration. Maybe for the future,
Ooh. Whoops.
me too. Now, identity and culture.
I'm sorry, guys.
Ah,
There
I
you
quite
go,
like
guys.
the
I
aesthetic
clicked the
of
wrong
this,
button.
like, very bold, saturated in your face sort of colors.
Yeah.
I wish they kind of kept that thing going. You know the Grand Finals Principality Stadium flooring,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And some of the terracotta or the concrete. I would love to see that too, right? Keep the theme going, you know? You started off
Mistake
with
on
one
my part,
aesthetic,
guys.
you got
My
it
bad.
in the Isdil Mountain, and you've got it in the Eisteddfod as well. But then we've come back to the usual Minecraft sort of aesthetic as well. Just a little creative consideration. Maybe for the future, all teams are developing. Cardiff and the Vale, though, looking incredible. Look at that. They've added water on top,
Ah, there we go. That's
and there's the animated wave.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what they wanted to see. Yeah, it does look really good. You could see them setting that up for a while. Honestly, they've cut it close. You know, we just came back a few minutes ago, and it was really on the way there. They were still setting up these sort of splash effects coming from the waves too, but it does look really, really good. It all comes down to
9,
are they satisfied with what they've done?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is the end of the semi-finals for the post-16. And my oh my, Cardiff and the Vale College, they are the Goliath in this tournament, right? They've definitely stepped up. They saw what St. David's done with the animated stuff, and they were like, yeah, we'll match you.
That too, yeah.
We'll match you. It looks like the Reds actually broke towards the end, but we saw it
Yeah,
at
we
least
did
as
see
the
it.
casters.
Yeah.
And they got all the Spencer issue stuff as well. What a beautiful build.
Yeah.
Look at that on the side.
Even the little tag as well.
Yeah. And there's the lever that activates it all
Nice.
with the redstone inside. Look at that.
Yeah, you can see
Wow.
how detailed it is in there. How it is tough to, this was all done in 20 minutes. They had to really work together to get all this set up. Yeah, it has turned out really, really well for them. And same on the Rising, though, as well. I think they can be quite happy with what they've managed to put together today. I think it's been a very, very cool sight. And yeah, what a waterfall. There go the effects. But yeah, I think both sides would be really satisfied with what they pulled off. But that is phenomenal use of all the effects created.
Definitely the best environment of the day. It is up to the judges if it fits the identity and culture.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue not culture, right? I don't think you can. Maybe, going up, like, hiking a bit, right?
Yeah.
That sort of culture element. But then I'd say, did they not have the time to add an armor stand or an MP that would show that?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But in terms of the identity, yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's all about what points you do score and stuff. And there's always relevance to what you could do in the future. How could you improve these builds, right? All these builds can level up in some way. So it is nice to still be able to assess them. And I think I do like the classic style that Ron the Rising have gone for, right? Just straight up in your face. Here's a nice deadboard. Here's some rugby and everything. It's a really nice way to just show to the judges, this is what we feel is our identity and culture, even in the modern Wales. And it looks good. I think they can absolutely be happy.
For sure. So, the judges are going around, getting a little insight interview from all of the players, trying to inform them on what the premise of the build was, how they can communicate, how it addresses the theme, right? And also give an insight into the teamwork. Usually, we'd have the opportunity, if we had more time, to have a shoutcaster to come up.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes the captain, if you don't have a shoutcaster. And they can communicate the team structure, right? What strategy they have. Throughout my time, goes through stages.
Yep.
I've seen teams go for let's play to our strengths, all do your solo thing, and they were.
Yeah, so I'll explain this now. What we built was Brecon Beacon's waterfall. In my opinion, it fits Wales perfectly. In my words exactly, this is exactly the culture of Wales. It's a very natural country. Yes, there's the capital of Wales, which is Cardiff, but that is not very natural. What we wanted to do was to do the national park being in Brecon Beacons, which proves the point of it all becoming a natural country. And it proves that a green city could be upon us in the future. So here's what I want you guys to do for me. Hit the like and subscribe button so I can continue doing more content just like this. If you do it, good on you. And who knows, I might feature your name into a video. Bye.